Hello, hello. I am half an hour late. Sorry, Christine. Oh my god. If you could do a little comment and say hello if you're here so I can see who is here. Yeah, apologies for being late. I was at yoga, had a beautiful yoga meditation, came back, had lunch, a hot chocolate, and I'm just like oblivious to I meant to start at 12, not 12:30. So I really apologize if anyone was waiting at 12. I'm so sorry, and I'm sorry, Christine. Oh no. Christine, can you see me and hear me? Okay, we're on. So if you're here, just drop a comment. Oh, hey Christine, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm just way too chilled. Anyway, this is what happened. I went to yoga and and I meditated and I have no time and space at the moment and I made a hot chocolate. So anyway, I'm here now. Oh, I was so excited to do this one because even though, um, even though, and I don't know if you looked at my bio for whoever's watching this, I'm Melissa. I'm the co founder of the Center for Healing with my partner Ryan. We co founded that in 2016. But basically, I've been a therapist and a healer for like 7 years. Actually, Emmanuel was my original therapist and trainer. So when I saw him that he was going to be on this as well, I was like, oh my god, wow. So that's really cool. So hi, Emmanuel, if you're watching this. um, yeah, so over that journey, I've basically been helping people with mental health and addictions because that's what I found the key to healing. And I overcame my own mental health and addiction issues, and then I helped Ryan overcome his, and then we decided to create a center together and grow that. But the whole time I've been doing money work. The whole time in the background I've been trying to expand my field and trying to expand my container and trying to increase my income. I've always wanted to be in business. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I studied business when I finished school. I knew it was in me, and I was okay with that. I had some positive, well, I think, what would you call it? Role models growing up around that, but I also had some negative ones. And as I've been going through and healing and growing my business, which isn't really related to helping people with money, but in a sense it is, and I'll go through that with you. As I've been going through this, I've learned so much along the way. So much in doing my own deep inner work around this. And now I've come to the point where we're having like $100,000 sales months now, and I think a part of my purpose is to help people that are healers, therapists, yoga people, whatever, in the field where normally in the spiritual field we're not supposed to charge too much or charge anything, and all of these like beliefs. And at the same time, it's like we want to be abundant. Imagine what all like conscious abundant people can do in the world, and it's okay to have desires, you know, and it's okay to want things, and it's okay to charge people for your gifts. And so my purpose is to help people do that full time. So I created like a practitioner training, and like basically I think I spent like 30 or 40 grand on a lawyer and on a consultant, and I took basically franchise our original healing center because we were turning over a lot every month. We had girls working for us, and so I kind of packaged that up, and now we sell that to people. So that's what I do now. But like I said, in the background, I'm super passionate about money. In our work, we're all about trauma healing anyway, so that is like a part of my everyday life and helping clients and healing and all of that childhood trauma. But you can get really specific if you want to go into manifesting and abundance and childhood trauma. So no matter who you listen to, they'll say, even like Christine, so she's got like a really good advice around manifesting and abundance. And a part of that is actually working through your money blocks, because you receive what you believe, okay? And so if your beliefs are contradictory to what you actually want, if your beliefs, and along with beliefs are usually feelings, if that point of awareness is on the negative, then you're going to keep attracting those negative things. So when you talk about manifesting, you talk about like having really positive thoughts, believing that you can have it, things like that. But no one really talks about, well, they do, they talk about these little subtleties of what's actually like, what are the resistances to actually getting what you want? What are the little niggly bits that are like, this is a goal that I want, but it's way over there, and I'll get to it in a year, I'll get to it in a year, I'll get to it in a year. And like, okay, like, why don't you just quantum leap and do it now? And our human goes, right? And then all of a sudden, our money traumas start coming up. Like, I took a risk before and I lost money. People don't do that in my family. You know, you can't do risky things like that. I don't want to spend, you know, $5,000 and invest in my personal development. That's a lot of money. Like, these kind of things all like pop into our mind, or we feel guilty for spending, you know, or like we do want to become some kind of healer practitioner, and then we're like, and then a part of us fears failure, what people will think of us, shame, things like that. These are the things that really, really get in the way of us actually having what we want. So firstly, it's like, it's okay to fucking have what you want. I mean, most people, like, you need that permission, especially when you become conscious and things like that. You start to realize that physical, like, reality and materialism isn't the number one thing. But then sometimes we go so far away from that our human is like struggling and we're not looking after ourselves, you know. But we are the people that should be wealthy, because we are the people that are conscious, and what we do with our money, it can be incredible. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I was like really excited to share this with you guys today in this group. So firstly, I'm just gonna start by saying like a quote that I heard, and it's like an amazing quote. So money doesn't go where it's needed, it goes where it's desired. Okay, so if everyone that needed money, that really needed it, that single mum with 3 kids that was about to get kicked out of her house really needed it, you know, people that are like, you know, below the poverty line, they really need it, the money's not going to them. It's going to people that have big desires. It's going to people that have big visions. It's going to people that allow themselves to want things. Because often, like, we'll get in this spiritual world and we'll be like, but I do all these amazing things, and this person over here who is totally like unconscious and in their ego, and they're like a terrible person, why do they like get like the massive beach house and all this and that? Like, why are they getting it? And we kind of go, we start to get resentful and frustrated, like, and we start to be like, why aren't clients coming to me? And we get into kind of into that mode. So it's okay to desire, it's okay to go into that, but what you've got to notice is when you start to desire, you're going to start noticing your money traumas and your money blocks coming up. Okay. So when those, and today some might come up for you, I've actually got a whole list that I usually take someone through in a session if they want to work on that. Okay. And I just want to let you know that, like, I had times early on in my business where I couldn't eat, and and Ryan and I, we started from scratch, and we had times where we were like, how are we going to eat? How are we going to pay the rent? Like, so I'm not coming from a place of like just privilege, just it's always been going good. I work fucking hard at it. I've worked and I still work at it like nearly every day, because I know as our business expands, more healing is happening. A mantra I say to myself is every dollar that we get is more healing. It's spreading more healing around the world. And so I've got to do that. And it's okay for us to look after ourselves as well. Okay. So from the ages to 0 to 7, we're basically in hypnosis. We're in the same brainwave that someone is when they're put under hypnosis. Okay, so that means that we take everything in. There's no prefrontal cortex happening. We're just soaking everything in. Okay, and we're taking, especially if there's emotion attached, we'll just start creating beliefs about ourselves and the world. So a lot of our personalities are created between the ages of 0 to 7. So I want you to have a think about like your upbringing. What did you see in the house in terms of around money? Did you see your parents fighting about money? Did your parents ever restrict you from having money? Were you always told that you couldn't have what you want? Right, so I just wanted you to really think about those ages 0 to 7, or even later in life as well. What did you witness? What was modeled to you? What could be a part of your belief patterns that you're not even like recognizing until right now, until I'm mentioning it? That, oh yeah, my mum was always like really tight with money. And so we can either go one of two ways. We can just repeat that pattern of what we're seeing, or we can make a decision like, oh, being tight with money makes you stressed because that's what I saw. So I'm going to do the opposite of that and spend all my money, right? And sometimes we do this oppositional stuff, okay? So I want you to really just have a think about that and just think, where, oh my God, there's all these comments I didn't see. Emmanuel, oh my God, hi. Marjorie. All right, now I'm up to date with the actual comments. Sorry, guys. And Ryan's not in this group. How rude. That's fine. Okay, Marjorie, you were not late. I was half an hour late to my own talk, so you are fine. Poor Christine is like, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm just floating around. Like, no idea. So so yeah, have a think about like growing up, like what did you see with money? I've had clients where like their parent was an alcoholic and took all of their money out of their piggy bank, and then as an adult that behavior shows up as like, it's not safe to have money in my bank account, so they'll always get rid of the money because they don't trust it being in there because someone's going to steal it. They may not have conscious awareness of that right now. They may not even know that that's a thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to go through like, so when I take a client through a session, we use this. And so we basically like check someone's like emotional baggage and check all like what's going on in their life. And we've got, what's your financial abundance out of 10? Because I've had multi-million-dollar a year clients that like they say their abundance is like a 5. And then I've had people come in that have like $1,000 in their bank account and their abundance is like 10. So it all depends, and it depends on your desires and what you want. So basically we take someone through, we check their baggage from their whole life. I get numbers from them, any behaviors that they want to monitor. Then we check limiting beliefs, okay? So limiting beliefs are like beliefs that are created during traumas or times growing up where we make a really strong decision about ourselves or the world. And when we create those beliefs in that moment, that energy like gets stuck in us and it can repeat those patterns. So we'll make our decisions today still based on things that we experienced during childhood. Okay, so they can be beliefs like I am alone, I'm not good enough. So I am alone could be, they lost their mum at the shop. It doesn't have to be a major trauma, but every time that person is with a group of people, they feel alone. whenever they're alone, they feel anxious. It's like their nervous system has stored that and it still gets triggered. So anyway, we go through all these core beliefs, but I'm going to jump right over to this extra sheet that we have. And we use muscle testing for this to actually check exactly which beliefs are in the subconscious mind. And so I'm going to go through. So this is exclusive because only my practitioners get to see this, or clients. So this is cool. So I'm going to go through each one, and if any resonate with you, maybe write them down and have a think about them later and see, like, maybe meditate and ask. Like, if you don't want to get a session done, then have a meditate and ask where this could be, because awareness can start to shift these as well, just by me telling you what's going on. And it's really awesome. Like when I check these, when I check my wealthy clients as opposed to not wealthy clients, like how much you can see what's at play. Okay, so is everyone still with me? All right, awesome. Okay, so we've got here, the first one is I am a saver. So if I'm doing like muscle testing with someone, which is they just do it themselves, or one of my students are doing it with their clients. So I am a saver. If the muscle test says no, they are not a saver, what's going to happen is that because that person has an identity that they're not a saver for some reason, it could be passed down, it could be some decision that you made at some point, then you will just not save money. You will just not save it, and you will just be working for the rest of your life or relying on other people for the rest of your life. If you feel like maybe you have that belief and don't want it anymore, have a look at like how you speak around money, how you speak around what's in your bank account, the thoughts that you have. Like, how do you feel when you look at your bank account? How do you feel when someone says money? Like, does something come up for you? Like, going into that is super important, because we have any charges around it, we're not going to allow it. Okay, because we're going to procrastinate on doing like our taxes and stuff like that, because we don't want to feel that feeling of actually looking at our numbers, right? So it's almost like you've got to like see, where am I like resistant to this? Because I know most of us want to be financially free. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, right? So the next one is I am worthy to live in comfort. So some people might have that already and they live in comfort. Some people might have the belief that they're not worthy to live in comfort. Maybe they didn't grow up in comfort and they just think, well, this is just the way I am. And they don't go out of their sphere of awareness, or there's a glass ceiling as to what they'll allow themselves to make and what they'll allow themselves to pay rent or mortgage to live in, or what they'll allow themselves to buy for the house to make it comfortable. Some people are like almost proud of like being penny pinchers and always getting the savings and the cheapest stuff. So have a think about that. And you are worthy of living in comfort. I'm just going to tell you that, okay? Christine, I've never had one person say to me that they want to be broke for their whole life. I know, but this is what happens when we have a belief and we don't know why we have it and we don't know how to shift it and we're not aware of it. We often become ashamed of it, and then we'll try and justify why we do it or why we have it, right? So people that smoke cigarettes, they're like, because they have tried to give up and they're like, they don't want to admit and they're ashamed that that thing has a hold over them, they'll say things like, their ego will say things like, oh no, I love smoking, it relaxes me, and all these like bullshit things to cover up the shame. Yeah. So yeah, people will like, live on the cheap and be proud that they saved $2 wherever, but like really deep down they probably don't want to have to do that, right? The next one is, so this is a massive one, is I have to struggle. Okay, so I have to struggle, that can be created if they've seen their parents struggling or their family struggling, and a belief is created around that. And when you have a belief, you have attached to it emotions, behaviors and thoughts, and they'll just keep repeating, and you'll just keep recreating that into your reality. Marjorie, I know plenty of people who don't even enjoy their money, yeah, because they some people hoard their money because they have fear of losing it, so they don't even use it. Yeah, some people don't feel worthy of living in comfort, all of that. So I have to struggle. So what's going to happen is when someone has I have to struggle, they will keep recreating struggle in their life. They'll just keep recreating it and they'll be like, oh my God, life's such a struggle. I mean, that could be like a subset of that belief. And so they are self-fulfilling prophecies. They are self-fulfilling prophecies. I need to struggle. Um, Next one. Oh, and similar to that, on the talk, Mel, talk properly. I'm just so excited. On the other side of that, I have to struggle to be wealthy. Oh, how many of us are like taught that you have to work hard, that you have to work hard to be wealthy, that you have to work really hard to make a lot of money, right? And we're taught like from school, like make sure you work hard, get good grades, right? All of these things are embedded, all of these things are coming in. Our prefrontal cortex isn't fully formed, our critical mind, until about the ages of 21. So anything that's coming in, any judgments that you make or anything that you're told by relatives, like that can all subtly like be really sinking in, right? So if someone says, you know, an auntie or something says to me, says to you, oh yeah, you have to work really hard to be successful at whatever, you know, things like that. It's like in your brain, it's just embedded. And you're like, so what's going to happen is you're going to be working your ass off, working 9 to 5 somewhere. And then you're thinking, well, I'm just getting by, which by the way, it is just set up like that to make sure that you just get by. And the system's all set up for mortgages and everything. It's based on you just being a worker. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Um, so then you're like, if I want to make more money, I have to work harder than I'm working now. But I don't even have a life now. And then if we don't have role models to show us that you can work 2 to 4 hours a day and make 100 grand a month, hello, like you don't you can like really like until you have new role models and new mentors and a new like awareness that can kind of break those beliefs, that can kind of break those realities for you to see like that there's something else available to you, then yeah, it's going to be hard, but you don't have to struggle to be wealthy. You just have to be more you to be wealthy. The world needs you and your uniqueness to be wealthy. Okay, the next one, I'm good with money. So if someone says a no to that, then obviously they're going to make bad money decisions. They might say, oh, I'm so bad with money. So then they just like, I'm just so bad with money. That's why I don't have like a budget, even though I don't really believe in budgets. But like, I don't even want to look at it. Oh, there's another bill. Oh, I'm so bad with money. And so obviously a really good one to let go of. If you ever hear yourself saying that or like thinking that, catch it, catch these beliefs and go, hang on a sec. There's one of those beliefs. Where did that come from? What's happening there? Right? And start to think about, well, can I shift this and change this, you know? Um, okay, more. It is safe for me to save money. So like I said, like my client that had the dad was an alcoholic, stole the kid's money when he was young. He doesn't feel safe to have money in his little money box. Well, he's not going to feel safe to have it in his adult bank account if he hasn't recognized that and dealt with it. Every time he gets money in, he's going to get rid of it. And that really links really well to the belief that money is evil. This one is one of the core beliefs that I check with people because and this is like so common because you know you see someone, the people that have issues with money and don't want to face it and have shame around it will judge people that have money and try and put them down and shame them. Okay. So when my ex, so I went to go, this is a story I'll tell you. I went to go get a battery for my car, okay, in like Mentone or something, Bayside, Melbourne. Got a battery for my car. The lady at the shop saw my boyfriend pull up, so he had a yellow Lamborghini, saw him pull up and goes, and she didn't know that that was my boyfriend. Saw him pull up, she goes, oh, why would anyone buy that? That's like, you could buy a whole house for that. And I was like, this is going to be really awkward because I'm about to get in that car. But like, why can't you be happy for him? Why can't you be happy for people? Well, why is she still working there at 60 years old and like miserable as hell and whatever? You know what I mean? Like, anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but um, oh my God, Christine, that's so true. That belief living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's like embedded in us, isn't it? Um, yeah, so it's like, if just say, oh, what about in the movies? Why are in the movies are all like the rich people, like not all movies, but most, they're the bad guys, or like they have to those people are dodgy. To be wealthy, you have to be dodgy, right? So then we like grow up, or like your dad, might put someone down, or someone in the family that's rich gets extra, like pushed away from the family, or they just like leave the family because everyone else gets triggered and annoyed with them. And then so you make the belief, oh, because this is a strong tribal belief of like I have to be accepted by my family in order to survive. When you're a child, anything that shows you that you will not be a part of the tribe anymore, you will take that down to your core and you go, well, I don't want to be rich like that. you know I don't want to be pushed out of the family. And so there's a core belief money is evil. Now, if someone has the belief that money itself is evil, like money itself is not evil. Money itself is just like a little tool that we all use, okay? It's a little energy exchange. But if you believe money is evil and you don't want to be evil, you will get rid of every cent that you get, okay? Because you don't want to be evil, right? And money is evil. So you should check in with that and see maybe if you have that belief or not, and just know it's not good or evil. It's just a tool. It just expands who you are. Good people, bad people. In and of itself, it's not evil. Okay, and it doesn't make the world go round. By the way, the world just turns by itself because it's going around the sun. Okay, so let go of that belief too. Okay, so the next one is, it is good to have debt. Some people are told this, like when it comes to mortgages and stuff, there's good debt, bad debt, things like that. Just throw that out the window. Oh yeah, Rich People Eve, I said that one. I fear not having enough money to pay my bills. Right? What happened, and this is something that I've had to work through, is like when I had times where I didn't have money to pay bills, what happens is you start going into a trauma response, and you start going into fight and flight whenever bills come in. And it's not because you can't pay the bills now, okay? It's probably because you're getting triggered from a past time that you couldn't get paid, that you couldn't pay the bills, and that was traumatic for you. And your nervous system is going to in that fight, freeze state now, even though you've got money now. And what's going to happen is you're going to start hating bills, not because of the bills themselves or because of the services that you get for them. Like, you signed up for the services, okay? It's because you literally like just have a negative charge around it, okay? Because of those times that you couldn't. So those are the kinds of, can you get yourself, like, do you have resistance to like when you get a bill going, oh my God, thank you, I love you, thank you so much, I have electricity, I can watch Netflix, and I've got the heater on, and I'm so grateful to pay this bill, I'm so grateful to pay this out of my account. And because I haven't dug my head in the sand, I actually like looking at my numbers every day. I know that I've got enough money in there to pay it, and I've allocated that. That's a whole different energy. Oh, I love paying my tax, my business tax, even though it's like however many thousands a month, or whatever it is, whatever you're doing, business or personal tax. Awesome, I made enough money to be able to pay tax, and I know that I use services from the government, or there are people being helped that need help with these taxes. It's the roads and everything. Like, how can you get into absolute gratitude for like paying your bills? And that's a whole other thing. And sometimes you've actually got to like sit with, yeah, I remember the times that I couldn't pay my bills. I actually will often have clients, and by the way, I don't want any more clients. If you want to have a session, like if you need help with this to go deeper, go to thecenterforhealing.com.au and click find a healer. And we've got heaps of practitioners all over the world. So when someone has a session, sometimes they go to a past life where they were poor and died starving. Sometimes they go to like 6 generations ago and they experience their great 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 grandfather and his poverty, or his house burning down, or being in starvation and dying, So sometimes it's not even the trauma that's happened in this life. Okay, sometimes it's trauma that's happened before. Before, on the DNA level or on the soul level. Okay? Only lucky people are rich. Who's got that one? I don't know what to say about that one. I just think it's silly. I mean, there's another belief: we create our own luck through improving our skills and believing in ourselves and working on ourselves. So maybe that can reframe it a little bit there. I'm important enough. How many women have you met that like kind of just give away all of their needs to look after their family, or don't feel important enough to dress themselves nicely or look after themselves? Or men who just like work 20 hours, 12 hours a day. And they just give they don't think they deserve it themselves. They're not putting themselves first. They don't think they're important enough. Okay, so here's another one. My value is based on how much money I have. So for this, it's if you've grown up in a family where like money was like the most important thing and it was put on a pedestal, and your parents push you, and they're like, if you want to have a house like this, you've got to do this, you've got to have money, save money, blah, blah, blah. It was all about money, and they would love you or withdraw love based on how well you were doing with money. What's going to happen is that you're going to go out into the world and you're going to keep doing the same. And what's going to happen is you're attaching your identity and being of value to the world based on how much money that you have. So it's coming from an energy of trying to prove yourself constantly. And because there's so much emotion attached to that, because it's basically, again, that core belief of being rejected from the tribe or not, when you look at your account and it's not good, you go into a downward spiral, bang, straight away, because all of a sudden your value is based on the value in your bank account. If you do really well, right, and it's right up there, and the bank account's looking good, you are like, yeah, I am the shit and I am valuable now. But what happens to those people when they all of a sudden lose everything? They go into depression and never get out of it, right? Because they have this like fantasy and they have this belief that they have that how much they have is based on their personal worth. That's not true. We are all fucking like amazing, worthy, valuable beings, money or not. Okay, so another one to chuck in the bin. It's safe for me to have more money than my family. Again, a really core tribal belief. So you'll see it with families, like there'll be a family that are overweight. Everyone's overweight, or and then there's the one skinny person and everyone hates on them, that projecting thing again. Or you'll get one person in the family that wins the lotto and they end up fighting with everyone and they end up getting rid of it all, because now all of a sudden they're like outside like the family, they're outside the dynamic of the family, and that core like survival mechanism is like, I need to be on the level of the family or I'll get rejected, and they'll sabotage themselves to make sure they don't become more wealthy than their family and that level in money sense and other ways as well, but I'm talking about money today. I fear paying more tax. So some people hesitate to make more money because they don't want to pay more tax, like I said before. See if you can step in a place of gratitude, or get an accountant who can do some things or give you some advice. Sometimes understanding takes away the fear. Understanding what you're working with, not just going, oh, I don't want to pay more tax, but you don't know anything about it, how to get more tax write-offs, offsets, all of that. So like educate yourself. If there's an area that's crap in your life, like educate yourself. Get all the money books, get Barefoot Investor, get the book Get Rich Lucky Bitch. Like get all these, if it's an area that you need to work on that's negatively affecting the other areas of your life, like it's up to you to work on it. If I came up to you and you had all these crappy money beliefs and I gave you like a $500,000 check, you are probably not going to be able to keep that, or you probably won't invest it because your energy field and your knowledge around it can't hold the energy of that. You know, at best you might buy a property, right? But you probably like blow it all within 6 months. You won't like know how to grow it or multiply it because the beliefs can't, they can only hold a certain amount of money in your field. You can only allow so much in your field, right? So yes, financial education is important, Marjorie. And I am not a financial advisor, okay? I'm just talking about other, like, I'm talking about money, but not what to do with it. But yeah. Okay, so this one is a big one that I see with people that have their own business and they're like trying to start to charge people for their services is I feel guilty when people compensate me for my time. Okay, so like they're the ones that are like, oh, I'll send you the bill, like, oh yes, I'll email you later, like, and then they're like really procrastinate around it. They feel funny sending it. You know, they're really hesitant about asking someone. You know what? People freaking love spending money. Like, what are you doing? They like booked your service. Like, freaking send it. So, like, work around that guilt. Because you don't mind getting money off your boss. You don't mind getting money off the government. What about someone that really sees you and loves your work? You know, enjoy that process. Enjoy it. And there's people that can like buy, it doesn't matter what price you put as long as you believe that to your core in your field, that's what your work, that's what you're doing, that's what you can charge. Okay, some people charge $50 a session, you know, if there's some kind of therapist or whatever. And I've seen coaches, they charge like 100 grand for a year, just like a once a week little chat. It just depends, like how much you believe in your field, what your sphere of awareness is, okay? Um, I'm a responsible person, so maybe you've done irresponsible things growing up, and your parents like, you're irresponsible with money. And then that's like kind of sets in, possibly. And then ever since then, like you are irresponsible with money, that's your behavior. And then you keep getting frustrated that you keep losing money or not looking after your finances properly. So it is working against you. It is really you being a rebel against yourself. It's like we lose faith in our parents like and become a rebel when we're teenagers, and then if we don't shift that identity of rebelling against authority when we're older, we do have our own inner authority, our inner parent and our inner child, and so we start rebelling against ourselves. Okay, so you got to watch out for that. I noticed when I did that, and I was like, it was a massive aha moment. I went to a nursery to buy some plants for our office, and I wanted some particular plants, and the plant said these are outdoor plants, and I go outdoor plants as if I'm gonna bring them inside, and I was like, what? Who was that? And it was like my inner teenager just like rebelling, and it was silly to do with plants, and I was just like, oh, I'm rebelling against myself, and like that was huge for me. That's why this is on the list. um my partner is against my manifestation. So some people are like, let their partner dictate, you know, whether they're going to do what they want in their life and fulfill what they want to do and their purpose, and or controlling with money. Like a lot of domestic violence cases, a lot of it is financial abuse as well, you know? So that's really sad, but that it really does happen. So, um, and the last one is I can have whatever I want. And again, this is from my own personal experience of when I was 3. So when I had the healing done, the root cause therapy healing, I went back to when I was 3, and this is like how subtle it can be. I was 3 and I was like reaching up for this shelf, and I wanted this shell thing or some kind of ornament on the top shelf. And I was like, Dad, like I want that. And my dad, like, he was like such a soft, gentle soul, but it must have been a really expensive ornament. I don't know, he had a bad day, and he just goes, no, you can't have it, and like full shut me down. I got like a shot emotional, and that obviously sunk in. And so in my life, after that, there was this repeating, so I healed that or whatever, and as I came back to now, there's this repeating pattern of me getting what I want and then sabotaging it, me getting what I want, sabotaging it. I bought 2 houses, lost them, bought cars, lost them, you know, like I just, so I'd get what I want because that's my inner desire, my drive, my soul wanted these things for my human reality. But then you know, a part of me is like, oh, that belief's coming in, like you can't have what you want. Oh yeah, and it's like my shadow, my subconscious is like, oh, you better sabotage to get rid of it, fuck it up, you know. So then I'd lose it all. And so once I broke that, I was like, oh, that's massive. So something as subtle as that can be a trauma as well. So that's that list. There's like always more, but how are you guys going? You still with me? Did you get something out of it? Any questions? Anything that you want to share about your experience? Any money blocks that you've worked through? I can do a little thing with you so you have something to take away to journal if you like. I mean, I've just given you heaps. But I want you to think about like what is your goal. So when you have a vision for how you want your life to be, whether that be 1 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, like when you bring that to mind, like what do you have? Like what do you desire? And I want you to remember that we often desire things because we're actually desiring just an emotion and a state, like a state of being. So for me, I'm imagining this like amazing huge beach house, but and that's paid for with cash, and I'm imagining that. But the thing that I really notice is like the way that I feel. We only get things so we can feel a certain way, and I feel really like stable and free, and I just feel all this love. And so that's the state that I want to like kind of tune into and be there. Now I want to think about, okay, when I come back into now from that desire that I want to get, what are the resistances there? What is like resisting me from that being my current reality? Okay, so we've got time and space in between that happening, but also we can like quantum leap that and reduce that by working through the resistances. So you can kind of label out of 10, like think about your goal and then label out of 10, how confident do you feel in getting that goal? Okay, how worthy do you feel? How deserving do you feel? How safe do you feel in getting that? How much do you trust that you're going to get that? How much are you allowing that to happen? How much are you surrendering to that as opposed to resisting? How much do you believe that it could happen, and how confident are you that it can happen? And just the first numbers that just drop in, you just write them down and you'll see exactly where your resistances are. So for example, with me, I wrote, I don't feel safe. Oh, sorry, deserving was one of my lowest numbers. I don't feel deserving of that. So I'm working through my house stuff, Christine. I was talking to Christine about that before, my housing issue. Um, Deserving, and I'm like, oh, fuck, deserving's a 2 out of 10. That's really bad. I can see where the other numbers aren't so bad. Why is it a 2 out of 10? Why don't I feel deserving? Straight away it popped up into my mind. It's like, well, you don't work that much. Like, you don't really deserve that. Like, and that's that thing. Like, you have to work really hard to make money or to be deserving of something like that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and then part of me is like, oh, that's bullshit. So I want to get rid of that. So like, I have to like feel into that guilt, feel into that until it shifts, until I can get the number up. And all of a sudden, your field and your reality, and you're tuning into that feeling of where you want to be, and then that's just going to get closer and closer and become real. Oh, you're welcome. Yay. I mean, sorry it wasn't like an hour. I don't know how long it was, but I hope that's okay. Oh yeah, Christine, will there be a replay? Like, will this be available in the group? Because I had a couple of people, like a couple of my students that want to watch in here, but I didn't know whether you were going to keep these up. So just let me know. Oh yeah, so maybe I can like tag. Oh yeah. This is one of them. This is my yoga teacher, everyone, and my student. Oops. Nearly ended the live. What am I doing? Okay. Cool, guys. Any like questions? Oh, she's not in here. Oh, I'll have to get her in here. Any questions or realizations or anything like that? Oh, awesome. YouTube will be perfect. Yep. Sweet. Yay. So good. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got something out of it. Is there anything else you want me to mention, Christine? Or I think you link people to where they can find me, but I think I said it before. If you want to do a practitioner training, again, just go to thecenterforhealing.com.au and click find course. and you'll find root cause therapy, and we've got some free courses as well. And if you want help with your trauma, go there as well and click find a healer. But that's it from me. I'm going to head on out. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. You're welcome. Thanks so much for having me, and Christine. Much love to you, and I'll chat soon.